So I heard that the now former head coach of the football team at University of Michigan spent some portion of last week inhabiting a rubber room on self-deletion watch after an incident following him being fired from the head coach position because of an so-called inappropriate relationship with a female. Now, I'm not here to harp and holler about him cheating on his wife or black men being white women. I'm sure there's plenty of commentary on the interwebs already about that. What I want to point out is how, yet again, we are being shown why my joy philosophy is so sorely needed in this world. My just own you philosophy. Okay, actually, there's three things that I got to mention here. Why the just own you philosophy could have helped this man avoid this situation. Why men oftentimes are not the natural leaders that y'all try to act like they're supposed to be. And why this domination and submission standard is so pervasive in our culture and needs to be stopped. First of all, the philosophy of just own you, JOY, the acronym that spells joy, the whole idea behind that is that far too many of us, men, women, and everybody in between, come to relationships, romantic endeavors, situationships, one night stands, and everything with this idea that you have the right to exert some sort of control over another person's mind, body, or whatever. It's the idea that too often we step over other people's boundaries or try to exert some degree of ownership over other people. We try to overstep their agency and make decisions for them or force them to make decisions that they ain't really interested in making. Had this man sat his ass down after he got fired and just laid low for a little while, because, you know, there's plenty of people out there who experience sexual scandals and they come back from them. If he had sat down somewhere and let this blow over, he might have been able to make a comeback. But no, because he was not operating in this, you know, magical leadership mindset that y'all say men are supposed to be operating in, because he could not take ownership for his own actions and take responsibility for the mistakes that he chose to make, he decided that he was going to assign blame to the woman for the fact that he got fired. So, you know, he's upset that he got fired. And, you know, even though her career was affected as well, both of them, you know, making unwise decisions, fucking up their lives, he chose to blame her to some extent, to go to her house, break and enter, go up in there with scissors and a knife and threaten to, you know, delete himself, threatening her with harm, had been stalking her because he could not take responsibility for the actions that he chose to involve himself in, right? Lack of leadership, the choosing to usurp someone else's agency, acting as if he owns this woman, like he has the right to threaten her, to stalk her, to make her feel unsafe, to go and try to, you know, threaten to harm himself and place the guilt or the responsibility of that at her doorstep. All of this is an unfortunate consequence of this dominance and submission standard that too many of us live by. The idea that a man, the kind of man who is operating from a distorted masculine mindset, believes that he is supposed to have the upper hand over a woman no matter what. He can be all kinds of wrong, but he's supposed to get the last word. He's supposed to be the dominating force. And if she won't submit to whatever it is that he wants, oh, well, then he's going to raise hell. And you see the kind of craziness that ensues when people are operating with that mindset. I talk about this in my new book, Fuck Submission, Ending the Gender Wars for Good, where I encourage both men and women to deconstruct these ideas behind the dominance and submission standard, where we assume that women are supposed to always submit to men and men are supposed to dominate. We see that a lot of these men don't have the skills or even the desire to truly lead even themselves, down the proper path. So why are you sitting around begging and waiting for them to lead you? Let them handle themselves. You handle yourself, and let's figure out how to meet each other in the middle from a place of mutual respect, reciprocity, and adult maturity. Once again, that's the dominance and submission standard raising its ugly head, assuming that, the man has the freedom to go out into the world and sow his wild oats while his woman is just supposed to be sitting at home twiddling her thumbs, hoping he don't bring home an STD. Oh, and I also want to say on the whole cheating thing, we live in a day and age where there are a lot of people out there discussing the idea of polyamory and, happily living that lifestyle. It's not perfect. It's not utopia, but it does give you a measure of freedom to live in your truth out in the open without having to run and hide. But the problem is there ain't enough power in polyamory for a lot of these people. They want to be able to taste the rainbow, but know that their own partner is just sitting at home waiting for them. Y'all need some joy in your life. Just own you and stop trying to own other people. And you won't end up in a rubber room rethinking your life.
Hey, good people, before you run out of this video, hold on. Mark this on your calendar. Put it somewhere in your phone. On January 7th, 2026, I will be featured on the Funky Dineva Live show here on YouTube, talking about my new book, Fuck Submission, Ending the Gender Wars for Good. The book is going to launch that day, and I'm going to have a special sale for everyone who is ready to get it that day. So get ready. Join me in the Garden of Evolution, and let's do the damn thing.